Well, hi there. This is H. Victoria Hogro Atkerson. I'm an author and a writer, and we're going to start a new series. It took me a while to kind of get it together, but I think you're going to enjoy it. We're going to talk about how things we love can influence our writing. And the first topic I want to talk about are hobbies. There are tons of hobbies that we have that we can incorporate in our writing to make it special. If you love a particular activity, such as knitting, crocheting, quilting, macrame. Macrame is an art that was practiced for centuries by sailors. So just thinking about that concept can take you anywhere in your writing. So you may want to think about if you're going to do something on sailing or a sailor, you may want to incorporate one of the activities in your book about how the characters are doing macrame to pass the time, because that's one of the things they did. They brought gifts home to their families using the materials that were available, which was ropes. So, practical, great things that we do every day can become a wonderful way to enhance our writing. Now, I love to quilt. So just recently, I think I did uh, personalities in the book that talked about quilting. As the story was evolving, one of the things that happened in the story was that these people were quilting the whole time. And then you incorporate that because I love quilting, so I like to talk about it. And this is the way I can share my interests with you or any reader. It's a great personal way to give of yourself. And one of the things that I think we all do is cooking. So, can you imagine just thinking about how that can affect your writing when you're talking about a family? Maybe I know I do a lot of cooking with my grandchildren. So, maybe something on that order where you can even share a recipe. I've done that in books where I can tell people how to cook grains or black eyed peas or how to bake bread. Those are things that you incorporate in your writing. Your readers will learn a task, a new skill. At the same time, they're appreciating the color that you added to your story. This is one of the things that makes writing so wonderful because it incorporates everything. Everything that you do. And remember, the things you write about should be things that you love. So write about what you know, write about what you're passionate about, and then incorporate that in your stories and make those stories come alive. It doesn't matter what type of activity you love to do. One of the things that I love to see when I'm watching movies or reading books is people who talk about or write about fishing, camping, things like that because that's what I like. And I just think it makes the story richer when you talk about the different personalities that your characters have, but the common thread that a particular grouping may have may be fishing. Maybe they uh, fish all the time. I know there's one story, one movie about fly fishing, which is really a terrific. I think it was starring Brad Pitt. Well, things of that sort you can incorporate in your writing. And another hobby that I'm thinking of that would be really great, um, which we all do it, and I know you do it because you buy my books. So that's reading, and talk about how people read, when they read, talk about a reading group, or just the activity of a person who is into that hobby, something that passes the time, and yet something that's going to add flavor to that character. When you give characters things to do, when you give them things that they're interested in, things that make them come alive, make them ordinary, and make them realistic to your reader, That's what gives your writing color. So think about hobbies. And I got a list here. I just want to read off a few hobbies that you can incorporate. And don't just think about the hobby itself. Think about the techniques that you can share about a particular hobby, especially if it's something you're interested in. Now, the techniques and skills, and also maybe somebody in that particular story is going to do something magnificent with one of these hobbies. I'm just going to read off a list here, and I'm sure you can come up with your own. It's always good to generate your own ideas. Okay, so there's cooking, sewing, knitting. These are my favorites, the first ones. uh, Crocheting, macrame, reading, fishing, boating, which is fantastic, horseback riding, camping, and riding motorcycles, biking. You get the idea. There's so much you can do with that. I know one of the things I'm looking forward to is being with a motorcycle group this summer when I go on my research trip, the Buffalo Soldiers, because they have these excellent, beautiful, high-powered machines that they ride, and I follow their caravan as they go to Tombstone, Arizona to celebrate the Buffalo Soldiers Weekend, which is like in June. So it's going to be a great event. So if you could write a story talking about, I know there's a lot of stories about motorcyclists, but think about your own experience and how that can make a book special and all the dynamics of the group. I mean, there's just so much that you can write about motorcycles and people who ride them. They are very colorful people. They're different types of people. I remember, and I'll tell you this very quickly because I'm getting a little leaving, just getting a little bit past my time. But there's one particular incident. We went camping one summer, and we were at this campsite with our kids, and this motorcycle group came into camp like thunder. I mean, they were like hundreds of them, it seemed. And they came in, they were looking rough and tough. They had beards and long hair, raggedy clothes, well, not raggedy, but, distressed clothing. Um, it was like, oh, we got our motorcycle group. But guess what? They turned out to be the best people we ever met. They sang songs with us. They came around the fire. They cooked with us. They were just great. So you never know. So to develop a story regarding anything like that would be wonderful. So I invite you to try, okay? Now just remember, take a moment and do something nice for some people. I know we had a Martin Luther King celebration just not too long ago, and last week, in fact. And we will be going into Black History Month. So, in those things, you can even think of bringing those events into your writing. And we'll talk about a lot about events later, but I have a ton of things to talk about. People, those subjects that you're most passionate about. Those are the things I want you to explore in your writing. Those are the things I want you to make as a central part of your writing so that your characters can live and breathe in the minds and eyes of your reader. So you take care. Love to you, and I'll see you soon because this is a great series. It took me a while to get it together, but I got it. Okay, so you take care and love someone special, and most of all, love to you. God bless.